did you first grow curious about the paranormal? Dare you dig deeper? You are listening to House of Asher.
And welcome to the show, everybody. I am Steve Asher, and you are listening to House of Asher. I believe this is episode 117, 118, but you know what? Like everything, time is relative. So anyway, Area 51, right? So I'm watching this stuff. You know, you can go to YouTube and find like a live stream of all this, which I should probably mention. I don't know if you're watching me on YouTube. If so, please subscribe, like, share with a friend. You may be checking me out on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, SoundCloud, a whole plethora of different ones. But the biggie, the big mama, the queen, lord of all of those in regards of my show is Paranormal UK Radio. And you can check that out. Get my shows anytime, day or night. Please, if you enjoy it, let them know. They always want to hear feedback about the shows, and check out all the other great shows that get on there. There's tons of them. But anyway, do also make sure to go to stevieasher.com and subscribe and check out my books and whatnot. Okay, enough of that. Area 51. Area 51, for anyone who's ever lived on the planet, is like in the movies and stuff, is like where the aliens are at, and where all the super advanced technology is, and where, you know, things like that. Which, I mean, if you listen to guys, you know, that are closer connected to this, you know, guys like Bob Lazar and whatnot, and you make your own judgment on that. But anyway, if we're just taking it at face value, S4, which is not far from Area 51, was where most of the testing and retrofitting and, kind of breaking down and rebuilding the will as it was happens. But anyway, for whatever reason, this thing started about, we're going to go to Area 51. We're finally going to get some answers. That's kind of not what happened. It's not what happened at all. And, more or less it was a joke. More or less it was, I don't know if it was more trolling or just good-natured ribbing. And you had everybody. You had, like Lou Diamond Phillips and all these action stars and different people. And, we'll be there. Are you going to be there? And all this stuff. And some people really took the bait. And I figured some people would show up. I figured 10 people might show up or whatever. But I figured most people would not push really beyond the black mailbox and some of the preliminary, don't enter here, we are authorized to use whatever force and whatnot, I'm paraphrasing, to stop you. Anyway, but they did. People came. As I understand, not like Lou Diamond Phillips and all these other guys. They're sitting back eating the popcorn, watching this freak show go off. But a lot of people came, and some Naruto kind of cosplayers, and a lot of people, were there, and break dancing, and just, it was sort of a really kind of wonky celebration. But there were some people arrested. I think a Canadian got arrested for doing something. I'm not for sure the exact deal. I find it hard that a Canadian, most Canadians seem like they're pretty good-natured folks, to come down there and do something. I don't know what they did. But yeah, there's, as of now, you can go watch the live feed as I am on my screen here. Nothing's really come off. A little show of force, a lot of this and that. But I think people expected what they would call Darwinism in play to happen. Moreover, I think people kind of wanted to see the carnage. They kind of really wanted to see some heads get cracked. It's I talked to some friends of mine who watch NASCAR and that type of stuff. That would be kind of like Formula One racing and stuff for everybody. It's like in Europe and stuff. NASCAR is like big, especially in the southern parts of the United States. But most people go, they may not admit it, but most of them are there to see who goes off the rails, who runs their car into a wall, or flips the car, or God forbid it catches on fire. They don't want to see anybody die. But it's sort of like, there was a show, America's Funniest Home Videos. A guy named Bob Saget hosted it. Funny guy. Anyway, everybody would be waiting to see, somebody playing ball with their kid, and just ultimately, the guy's going to take a shot to his crotch. A hard shot to his crotch. From a baseball, from a ball bat, from a frisbee, from a drone, from a soccer, anything that you can hurl, kick, throw, or punch, or sail across a yard, generally ended up in some guy's crotch. Or somebody fell off a horse, or somebody pushed somebody in the pool and then they slipped. That kind of almost vaudevillian, type of vibe. Anyway, but so far, not a lot of that. Nothing too serious has happened. But I wonder, what does this say? What does this say about where we are as humans? Obviously, we're still very much caught up in gang and sort of mob mentality, good or bad. All those people that go to sporting events, soccer, whatever, football, are all there. They're all chanting on. They're all kind of part of the big collective. So I think we're kind of hardwired to sort of be that type of creature, and we are creatures. I mean, we want to say we're beyond this and that, or we have a certain, elevated place in the food chain. And it just takes a few minutes of dealing with an area that has lost, say, food and water, or there's a drought, or there's people are trying to get their kids out of a situation. We go primitive ape pretty quick. And although this is not, thankfully, that kind of situation, it does show that we are still very much able to be manipulated. And, when you run up on a government facility, I know a little bit about this as I've worked in government facilities, they don't play. They may give you a warning shot anymore, or I'll tell you this for a fact. In the prison systems here, there's not a warning shot anymore. It's a thing of going, you can give a couple yells or whatever, and then, you're not supposed to shoot any rounds off unless you're going into center mass of whoever's coming. Now, as dark and gnarly as that is, that's status quo. You start flexing against the state, the state's going to flex back. And I'm just hoping, I hope these kids, young adults, whatever, have a good time. Have some fun, man. And, America can take a little ribbing. Love us or hate us, generally we got a thick skin. So, I just hope everybody plays nice, and at the end of the day, everybody goes home. I'm hoping that wacky Canadian is let go, sent about his way, and he has a really interesting story to take home to his friends. Can pop in a VHS copy of Strange Brew and go to Bob Thornton's and get some excellent bacon. So, but yeah, there's that. But I am curious what you guys think, because I would love to talk to somebody who's actually there, someone who's in the fray, as it were, experiencing all that's going on. Because I don't know if you've seen the video. Everybody's dressed up like I said, everything from Naruto to just aliens and this and that and all kinds of. It's like a frickin' sci-fi Burning Man kind of type of situation is what I would call it. I don't know if people were there ironically or if they're really pushing for disclosure. I don't know if it's a thing of, I've seen stuff on different pages, memes that, people were like, I want to find an alien. I want to have sex with an alien, which I'm thinking that, I don't know. I've seen a lot of squid and things, and I'm not really thinking I want to put my my gear near that. But, and again, that's sort of a humanistic mindset. Maybe they don't look like squids. Maybe they don't, look anything different than us. Maybe they're not even physical beings at all. Maybe they're just, knowledgeable plasma or some sort of force. Who knows? But beyond that, I mean, it gets, you can go so far wonky with it that you have to pull back and go, yeah, well, we're just going to let that kind of happen as that happens. But it's definitely one for the record books, and maybe this was a precursor. Maybe this is what you call kind of a warning, not a warning shot. I mean, no, I was talking about that earlier. This is more of a testing the fence, figuratively and literally. Maybe they're like, well, they didn't freak out too bad. There were, say, I don't know how many were there. Let's say there's 500 people there, 1,000 people. For the most part, it only got shot. And even if a few people got over the fence, more or less, there was no substantial lingering damage or issues or whatever. Maybe that's like, well, maybe we'll come back again with bigger and badder guys to push on this fence and try to come over and do all this and that. I don't know. And how do we know, and I don't mean to fearmonger, and please don't take it that way, how many of these people are whatever, just goofball kids? Maybe there's a more nefarious element inside of this. A lot of people wearing masks, this and that. Who knows who's there? It could be somebody from some sort of weird Splinter Cell, militia type, whatever. And I'm not saying all militias are bad, please don't take that. But I mean like a dark element from some sub-religious sect or, hellbop kind of off the charts wackadoo situation. I don't know. I'm really kind of, I'm at a loss, It kind of makes you think of like that scene in Independence Day. Everybody's on top of the roof and, take me home and, take me with you and all this stuff. And they're gone. Ashes, right? There's so much stuff going on with this Epstein thing. And there's so much stuff going on with all this other stuff. All these different things and trials and people getting indicted for this and that, and people getting pulled into weird sex scandals and all this stuff. Who's to say that this is not an orchestrated event to simply, cloud the water? A distraction. Do not look at the man behind the curtain. Look at me. Something that's sort of a sensational, quirky thing to draw people's attention away from what's really happening. In the end, time will tell. Time always tells. And as much as things want to be suppressed, everything from alien contact, recovered technologies, political assassinations, covert operations, reasonings behind various mergers with Fortune 500 companies. Eventually it's going to come out. Eventually it's going to come out. Because we're humans, and humans love to talk. And some people who feel that their lives are already threatened anyway, at that point, I don't know what they've got to lose, and they're probably going to let it go. And more often than not, even in law enforcement, there's so many times that someone got a tip, somebody was in a situation where they felt like they got dumped on, so they turned around and turned evidence. that's a remarkable amount of how, and different types of trials and warrants are served and all this stuff because of someone saying, okay, I need to tell you what I saw. I can't live with what I saw or what I heard or what I experienced or what I even partaken in to a certain degree. And I think that's what's eventually going to happen with Area 51 and S4 and all the other stuff. There's so many places they talk about that's under national parks and places that there's not foot traffic in regards like that. Animal sanctuaries and stuff, and they're supposedly having dumbs and things like that. Can I prove this? No. Is there paperwork floating around on the internet connected to all this stuff? Yes. Could it be BS? Absolutely. But I don't know. That kind of leaves you in that position of almost, I don't want to say faith, but like I said, in time, everything's going to come clear. But, again, I do want to thank you for listening to this little short House of Asher. And I really want you guys to get involved because I love that. Eventually I may do a call-in show, or if you guys can send me some emails at all lowercase and together, ILASHERS at yahoo.com. Okay, eyelashers at yahoo.com. And send me your questions, send me your comments, send me what you think about this weird situation, or some of the other weird situations I've talked about. Everything from, movies and books to possessions, different things like that, miracles. Contact me, because I want to get into that. I want to open this up to everything and everybody. I don't care if you are in Poughkeepsie, or if you're in Uganda, or if you're on a peak in Tibet, or in the middle of the jungle somewhere. I want to hear your story, and I want us to talk, and I want us to share with each other our experiences, and we can learn from each other, and that's one of the biggest things for me. And I think that in doing that, once we all pull together, and once we're a strong, unified people, there's not a government, there's not a cabal of shadowy figures that can really stand against that. I mean, you've seen where, a lot of the New World Order stuff really kind of went sideways because there was such a public outcry and so much was said out against it. So I definitely want to get in on that, and I want to know what all you guys think about it. So what I want you guys to do, I want you to go out there and enjoy the rest of your day. I want you guys to have fun and get out and really try to make something of it. But as the sun sets behind the pines, I want you to make sure to be prepared for when darkness falls. Check under your bed, check in your closets, check down that back hallway, and look up toward that twisting hollow down the hillside, because you never know what's there. But always remember that there is knowledge, sometimes in fear, and that's okay. So, be good to you, everyone. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you again another time and in another place. Thank you for watching this video on YouTube or wherever you're listening to it. This is House of Asher. I am your host, Steve Asher. Until next time, goodbye.